Tony Soprano with this shirt.
You really are. I'm here for it.
Right? This is
Tony Soprano shirt.
I think it's a replica.
It might be a 1-to-1 replica. Hot take, I don't love Sopranos.
Hot take. I watched season 1 and stopped.
I had a feeling you never watched it.
My favorite part was the therapy parts.
It just gets repetitive, though. Like, that's the common theme of the whole series. Like, he's just in therapy, and he is a very angry Italian man.
I
And
like
people just keep
that
getting
therapist character. I guess don't spoil it because I've planned to watch it, but like I would like to see where their relationship goes or doesn't.
Okay. I need to do like a relax. I feel like I have to get in a good headspace. This is going to be a very vulnerable episode. I have to be like, cool, collected. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Young Millennials podcast. I'm Lex, here with my co-host, Billy. And today we have a hot topic. I feel like Wendy Williams when I say that. The hot topic.
Time for hot topic.
That's why we do the hot topics. But today's a hot topic. We're going to be talking about our sobriety journeys. Sobriety's been a big thing for me in the past few years.
And Billy I'm heavy on the journey.
Billy's trying to get on the choo-choo train of sobriety.
We'll get there.
Yes, it's a roller coaster, more for Billy, not like a train. But it's going to be a good episode. Very vulnerable. I'm excited to share my story. I believe there's power in vulnerability and communication. And if I can just empower one person with my story, that's all I really care about. So let's, first of all, we need to do a debriefing. Billy and I swear, I don't know who's against us, but they don't want us to film the Young Millennials podcast.
Something major happens before every recording.
Oh,
and by
it's
major,
always like,
it varies.
It's like a minor inconvenience, but it's kind of like a what the fuck.
Very really first world-ish problems.
Very first world problems. And they always get resolved and like we always figure it out, but that's just...
It hasn't ended us, so...
No,
like
we're
always
still
end up, we always like film through it.
Exactly. So we have to sometimes take a little detour, figure it out, but we're here. We're doing it. It's fine. Everything's fine. So, yeah, I didn't do much this weekend. I have nothing to really catch you up on. It's been hot as balls here in New York. Today it said it feels like 103 degrees. So I've been in the pool or indoors, not doing much outside.
Yes. Yeah, I don't have much either going on. I was just going to say 3 things that I realized this week and more like fire off.
Let's hear.
One is Miley Cyrus, I Can't Be Shamed album changed my life.
Iconic.
2, the Taylor Swift hate is starting to get to me. Like, you know, when she was like going like this or whatever, like they were coming so hard for her for that. When like in her mind, she wasn't thinking that she was the shit. Like she was just being the shit. She was just living her life. Like
she's just a white girl vibing.
Yeah, like I think that went far beyond like what it should have been. And then lastly, I love my phone notes personality. I wish that's who I could be. I don't know if I said that right. Talking about the voice note.
Oh, so when we're voice noting each other.
Yes, I want to be my voice noting personality.
Yes, your voice note personality is top tier.
Yeah, like I really need to start channeling that because I've been nervous in these few episodes and like I gotta snap the hell out of it.
It's not that serious, Bill. It's not that serious. Everyone here is here because they love us or they hate us. I don't care. You're still watching and listening.
Period.
And that's on internet.
And hearing.
3 things. Can't Be Tamed, Taylor Swift, voice notes.
Personality.
Energy. We got that.
Yeah.
Can't Be Tamed, definitely iconic. And that came out when we were like preteen teenagers. So we were all like, oh yeah.
It was like 2009.
Just like Miley Cyrus.
Yeah. And that was also like when I went full stan and like let go of Britney Spears. So, well, I mean, Britney is now, she's still kind of 1, but she's realistically 2.
I
in
was
my
low-key
Queens
Hannah Montana stan, but not like the TV show. I started watching at the end, but I was always a stan of the music. Like Meet Hannah Montana, Meet Miley Cyrus, whatever the album's called. I had
I
every
liked
song on my
like
pink iPod Nano.
Rockstar. I liked
Oh, yeah.
Rockstar and like the
Seven
hits
Things.
more. But I liked that, but like I just didn't go full stan. Like that like changed my music chemistry brain. Like thank you
It's shit part of
to
your brain.
I Can't Beat Permanent December. Like stop.
Oh, that one's like a deep cut, but it's really not.
I know, literally.
That's like a deep cut for preaching. Permanent December.
Anyways,
We're gonna be the only ones who know these songs.
I know. No, I mean Young
Stream
Millennials.
Permanent December by Miley Cyrus.
If you don't know that song, you're not a young millennial. No.
No, for real. Okay,
Anywho,
let's get on with it.
yeah.
We're feeling good. You're feeling good. No anxiety. No
Yes.
anxiety here. You got your pink hat on.
Yes, I'm hard. Like that was another thing. Like, not been like feeling my best, but this week moving forward should
The
be better.
haircut can really throw you off your shit.
It's
That's why I love cutting
unwell.
hair so much, because I know how much it revives a person. Like when I do a big transformation, like a few month no haircut transformation, the people leave like walking lighter.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. I love to see it. And myself, I got a bad haircut, a few months ago. It fucked me up mentally. I had my Joe Dirt mullet.
Wasn't it this one, and then you just started liking it?
Yeah, this is like the
'Cause
grow out of the
it's
fix
good,
of the bad
yeah.
haircut.
Yeah.
No, now this is good. We're back on track. But back in May, when I got the haircut, I was not happy. So
I think
get
you
where
should
you're
go to
coming
that Brooklyn lesbian that I sent you a long time ago.
from. I think I just need to learn how to cut my own hair.
Or that. Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
We're going to figure it out. Okay. Now, on to today's topic
Yeah,
of the
that was-
week.
that was my intro.
That was Billy's intro. Topic of the week, sobriety. So, I guess I'll just share my story briefly. It's kind of a long one, but I'm going to condense it, and then we can open the floor for conversating. If you feel like you need to jump in, any questions, you can chime on in.
Totally.
So I wasn't like everyone else. I didn't start drinking when I turned 21. I had the occasional house party here and there, but I wasn't going out to the bars, things like that. I was in a relationship, so I didn't really start partying and drinking until I was like 24. That's when I did the Jersey Shore house. That's when I was at the bar, the club, every, 3-4 times a week, I want to say. So that's when the heavy drinking started, 2018. 2019, it kind of slowed down a little. I had a girlfriend. 2020, when everyone was like peak drinking at home COVID, surprisingly, I wasn't, because I was like a vodka Red Bull girl. And there's just something about sipping a vodka Red Bull at home that's not kosher. You're like, this is really low of me. That's a club drink. Like, you're at the bar, you're at the club, you need your energy, Red Bull vodka. And that's all I drank. I didn't drink beer. I never drank the White Claws or anything like that. I was hard liquor, shots, mixed drinks. So
I actually
2020
never had
kind
a
of
Red
pumped the
Bull
brakes.
vodka.
Oh, they're so. Do you like Red Bull?
I don't know. I never really had a Red Bull.
They taste
I
like
don't-
almost like a candy. Some people really hate them. I don't mind them.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of drink I could only take a few sips, and like I don't know. I really
That's
just drink
like
water.
A one drink a night. Like, that starts your night. But for me, I was drinking 4 or 5 of them a night, which is very bad for you.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, there was one night I woke up at the shore and my Apple Watch was like vibrating. My heart rate was like 150 or 60 and I was sleeping.
No.
So that's when I shifted away from the Red Bull vodka. I would just do like one a night to start the night. But I want to say 2021, 22 is when I started to get the really bad hangovers. When I'm talking bad, I'm not like, oh, throw up, like hangover, throw up, headache. Violently ill, like throwing up. This is gross, but like throwing up the whole next day. I couldn't keep down water. I couldn't keep down food. Like, it felt like borderline alcohol poisoning. And to backtrack a little, speaking of alcohol poisoning, one of the lowest points in my life, in 2017, the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, Philadelphia Eagles, right? You don't follow football, but
I was just
this
gonna
was the
ask, that's
first
football,
time.
right?
This was the first time in a very long time the Eagles were going to the Super Bowl, and I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles football fan. I plan a whole trip to go to the Super Bowl. I was going to Minnesota. I was getting a ticket. I had my airfare, my hotel, everything was booked. The night before I was supposed to leave, I went out, blacked out, alcohol poisoning. I couldn't go.
Oh my God.
I felt like such a piece of shit. And they won the Super Bowl. I would have been there. I would have been there.
Oh, that is
So that was like,
tragic.
it kind of just kept piling up over the years. Like those moments where you're like, wow, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. That was the first big one because that was iconic. I was a big sports fan. I still am.
Yeah,
but
I was just gonna
that
say
one
that
really hit
like
home.
that like hits right.
That one really hit home. So yeah, fast forward again. 21, 22, that's when I was really getting hit with the hangovers bad. And I was starting to experiment with different alcohols. Like, let me try wine. Let me try this. Let me try that. Maybe it's just vodka. Let me try tequila. Every alcohol was doing that for me. I was waking up destroyed. And I always went out Thanksgiving Eve. That was my favorite party night of the year. And I ruined so many Thanksgiving dinners because I couldn't eat the next day. So more things to add to the pile of, wow, I'm a piece of shit. And then it was New Year's Eve, 2023. I went out, got wine drunk to high heavens. Bad. You know, wine, you're supposed to like sip a little. They were filling up like solo cup size cups for me of wine. And I just kept drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking. And I don't have a limit. I don't stop. Once I'm going, I'm going. And I remember just stumbling home. You know, my mom picked me up, wasted. I get home. I had a tiramisu dessert in the fridge that I was so excited to have. And I remember sticking the fork in it and I flung the whole thing out onto the floor. And I was like, no.
Oh my
I
God.
ate a few spoons off the floor, immediately yacked everywhere.
No.
Went to bed, woke up January 1st, 2023. And I was so mad at myself because I had to go to work that day because I was moving studios at my job. So I had one room and I was switching to a new room and I had to paint. I had to, you know, move everything over. I had to do a whole renovation. And I was supposed to go January 1st and I couldn't. And I was so mad at myself. I said, you know what, Alexa? If you're going to be a successful business owner, you're going to stop drinking. Do it for a year and see what you can accomplish. And that was kind of it. Once I have something in my head, I'm done. I'm sad. So that was 2023. And about 6 months in, I was like, I don't really miss this. I don't miss it. I feel great. I'm getting shit done. My business is thriving. I don't need to go back to that. So, and here we are. I think I'm like still, I don't know, 550 days, no alcohol. I don't see me ever going back. Ever.
Wow. What a
That's my
finale.
story. I had to get my shit together. It gets to a point in your life where it's like, I can be like the rest of my family who were alcoholics. Everyone has alcoholics in their family. Alcoholism is genetics. Addiction is genetic. My father was an addict. That's something I did not want to carry with me. I promised myself I do not want to be like my father. And that's what really kind of flipped the switch. Like, you're going to be different. You're the generational curse breaker. So here we are. Sober girly.
Sober girl in the
Snaps.
world.
Can we get some snaps?
Yes. So, I don't really know where to take it from there.
Well, I also was just thinking because now I'm also sober with weed. When I was doing the alcohol, when I was doing no alcohol, rather, I was still smoking weed. And I leaned on that heavy, especially in social settings. When I was going out, I was like, oh, I could just smoke a joint and I'll be good. We're chilling. Everything's fine. And then just over a month now, episode 0, that's when I, canned that. And I said, no more weed. So now I'm just over a month no weed and I'm just stone cold sober. I have no vices. I'm just fighting my demons with my hands, raw dogging life.
Honestly,
And
that's very amazing. Cause
I kind of like have moments where I'm like, damn girl, you're doing it. You're really doing it.
I feel so guilty and I have a confession.
Oh my God, tell me. Safe space.
I bought an 8th this past week.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay.
I mean, that's where my the journey of it is, because I'm still in between stages of accepting or something, maybe, because I don't
Yes.
know where I am or what my true journey will be, because my biggest thing was I felt like I couldn't stop at all.
Mm-hmm.
And even this time, getting the eighth, I'm I got the eighth. Okay, I got two eighths.
Isn't that, is that a half?
Whatever,
It's a quarter.
a
A quarter.
quarter.
Yeah.
So, and I just I'm
And how much did you
Billy.
spend on that?
60.
You could have done so much for that $60.
I know. I just had to
That's how
buy
I
a
look at shit
hard.
now too.
I know. But again, that was my third time this year of doing it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know. Since February. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about
Since
before
buying it
February.
on your own.
Yeah, I've been able to be okay, got it, and it's done next week again.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had bad experiences with the first two times.
You mean the
Uh,
first 2 times smoking or trying to quit?
the first two times breaking it and getting weed.
Okay.
I told myself I was done, because I never set anything truly in stone.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I
Did
feel
you feel guilty? Were you
this
mad at
time,
yourself?
the first time, I couldn't wait for it to be done. And then
Mm.
I feel as I got more comfortable maybe with not doing it, I kind of feel at this point right now, I didn't feel too guilty this time. I'm getting everything
Mm-hmm.
done, and I haven't gotten it, and I haven't been getting it. So there's parts of me that are
You deserve a little treat.
or do I even have to go fully sober? Like,
Mm.
I don't know if we talked about this in an episode, but I usually am all or nothing. I feel we
Mm-hmm.
kind of are. So
Yeah.
I'm just having trouble identifying the issue, because I also feel if I had a boyfriend, if I had more an active friend life that didn't
Mm-hmm.
smoke, it really, I don't know how detriment
Detrimental.
to me
That word.
detrimental to me that would be. It's totally a journey for me. I'm trying to not put too much pressure on it, too much guilt. But then when I hear your story and I see especially the weed thing, to do the 1 and 2, that's a lot.
But the
That's
weed, so the weed for me, we talked about this all the time. Our
Mhm.
weed journeys, our weed journeys. That's what we call it, our weed journey. I was
Everything's a
struggling
journey.
for a hot minute. We've been talking about this, I want to say this whole year so far, the past 6 months. I want to stop. I stopped. Oops, I smoked again. I just took a hit. Hey, what's up? And that's all we were doing, going back and forth. And I think if I didn't have this bad experience last time I smoked, because I had a bad high. I had not an anxious bad high, but the headache high
Oh, yeah, yeah.
hangover. And I woke up, threw up, nauseous headache, pounding from weed. And I was like, ew, weed should not be doing this to me.
Mm-mm.
This is not fun anymore. I'm done.
Mhm.
And if I didn't have that, I think I'd be more inclined to dabble in it again. But it's when you're younger and you eat a food that traumatizes you and you can never have it again. That's almost how I feel now. I think of smoking a joint and I get a stomach ache. I'm like, ugh, no, I can't. And it's a blessing in disguise.
It
Definitely.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not
Absolutely.
tempted. I literally have a bong packed in my bathroom. I could smoke it at any point. I have a whole pack of pre-rolls sitting and I don't want it. I don't want it. Also, though, now that kind of ties into my health journey, because if I care so much about the rest of my health, your lungs and your brain, it's more so the brain for me, the frying of my brain cells, because I feel a difference mentally. I have that clarity. So it's a lot of different things that kind of helped me over the edge. And one thing, if you feel yourself always having that debate, you kind of have to ask yourself, well, why do I want to stop? Why is this unhealthy? What do I want to change in my life? You kind of have to just have that internal monologue and question yourself.
Yeah.
And for me, I
absolutely.
kind of find it, sorry to cut you off, but like
No.
I use it as like a filler in my life. Like,
Mhm.
I'm bored. I'm going to smoke some weed. And
I know. I
it
need to
didn't make
be
anything
filled.
better.
I know.
It doesn't make anything better though. You think it does. That's where it tricks you. You think it's going to make things better.
But
How
I
many
mean,
times have
people
you
do
like took a
love it
hit?
and live with it, like, and live, laugh, and love with it.
Yeah, absolutely. But everyone's different, you
I
know.
It's
And
also
not
just
to call you
shocking.
out. How many times have you took some hits and you're having a full-blown spiral?
Totally.
You know, I just take it as a sign from God or the universe, whoever you believe in. I don't care. But when you're having bad experiences after bad experience after bad experience, someone, something, somewhere is trying to tell you to stop. And it's like, how many more times do I have to be punched in the face with this until I get it through my thick skull?
That's what really scares me. And that's like what is truly like, I'm like wowed by you like committing to it and stuff. But it's just also so crazy to me how I did it for so long and then it's just like changed. Like, and it's
Yeah.
like a part of me is, I guess, continuing to fight to where it used to feel.
But chances are it's never going to get back to that because you're never going to be 18 smoking weed with your friends in the backyard again. Now you're 30 with anxiety, smoking weed to fill a void.
You know
So
what
it hits
triggered
different.
it?
Oh no.
I saw this hot gay guy on the beach and he lit up a joint and I instantly was like, Shane, I need an eighth right now. And he had a boyfriend that wasn't cute and I was like, it should be me.
Oh my God. Maybe if I smoke, he'll look at me. Everyone like kind of glamorizes it. And listen, I love weed. I didn't start smoking until later on in life. I wasn't smoking weed in high school like a bad kid. I started smoking when I was like 25. So
I forgot to say, I didn't want to cut you off before, but I'm cutting you off now.
No, it's okay.
I started too with the drinking like at 21. So I get that like laterness. And this, I guess I kind of started weed too, like late as well. So maybe that's why we're like a little delayed here. But I mean,
Yeah.
I guess everyone's just different or whatever. But
I'm grateful
sorry,
though because
continue.
I was a very angry teen, like everyone, like punching holes through walls. And I'll never forget the first time I smoked, and it wasn't like a bad high because you know everyone's first high is horrible,
Yeah, I have live footage.
horrendous, terrible. But the first good high, I remember sitting there. I was in the shore house with a whole room of my friends. We were, you know, hot box in the bedroom, and I'm just like, yo, nothing even matters. Like, nothing's that serious. And it really brought this peace that I've never felt. And I had that existential moment where I'm like, oh my God, everything that I was freaking out about, that I'm anxious about, that I get angry about, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. And for that, I'm so grateful for the weed. It has changed me through and through as a person. And I think it's like, you know, there's a season and that was my season of weed. And now I got to let her go. And maybe one day she'll return. But right now, there's no longer that season for me. But forever grateful for Mary Jane.
We love you, Mary.
Love her, let her go.
Yeah, so I think just my status right now, I guess it's nice to kind of have this episode to look back at because like I was totally like have to take a year off and I have to be mentally there and I just know that
You
I'm
have to
not.
want it. You have to get to that point on your own.
Yeah.
And you're not there yet. You're
And
not.
I'm just not there and I'm kind of trying to just accept that for now, but I'm taking.
But aren't you curious to see what you can get done in a year with no weed? Because how many times have you gotten stoned and you wanted to do this or that and you're just slumped on the couch?
I tell you this always. It does the
You don't
opposite
really
for
do
me.
that. But like ever, that's never happened to you. You've never gotten too high where you're like, oops.
I
now I'm
mean,
not doing what
yeah,
I need
but
to.
like, I don't know.
Or the times that you've had panic attacks in front of your whole fam. Sorry to call you out, but
yes, I know.
you know.
Well, now with that, like, it's like, okay, can't smoke the pen again. Flower queen.
Yeah, the pen is bad. Well, when I stopped smoking a month ago, a whole article came out. I don't know if I told you this. LA Times did a whole expose on the California weed industry and found big brands like Stizzy, Backpack Boys, and a whole bunch of other ones had high amounts of pesticides in their oil pens.
I smoked a couple Stizzies.
Yeah, everyone did. Stizzy was that girl. But it just shows you can't trust this stuff. You don't know what's in it. You do not know what's in these pens. And no one needs a 95% THC.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I should have dabbled
I was never
more.
a fan of the pens.
I should have dabbled more with the indica. But, like, I always felt the same kind of effect either way.
Yeah, for me, it's just like weed is weed. Weed is weed. I switched more to the indica at the end. And that kind of helped me not get so, like, on edge. But I just can't do it.
I kind of want to dabble with CBD. Miley dropped it recently. That she's, like, been taking it here and there.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know. I don't really know what that would do, but maybe I should try that.
Yeah, but it's like, what purpose do you want it to serve?
Right. I mean, it says it's all like the good benefits except actually being high. So, or is it just going to make me too soothed or whatever? I don't know.
I never bought into the CBD crap. I know it helps people, but if you're going to smoke, just fucking smoke. Just light it up. Do you feel like you have external things influencing you, like your struggle and things like that? Or do you all think it's in your own head? Like, do you think if your brother didn't come around with his weed pen, like it would be easier for you to stop smoking?
Probably,
and, like,
but
do you feel like society helps or makes it worse at all?
That definitely makes it harder for sure. But like the past few times, like I haven't hit the pen because I was like, I can't.
Well, because now you're traumatized.
Literally traumatized. Oh, the fucking
Traumatized, like the mozzarella sticks traumatized me in the 5th grade. Can't do it. But I think I held on to weed for so long because everyone around me was like, it's just weed. You're thinking too much into this. And it made me kind of feel dumb. I was like, maybe I am thinking too much into this. Like, it is just weed. But then I would go back and be like, but no, you don't want to do this anymore. So you don't have to. And peer pressure is a big thing that I don't think enough people talk about. I feel like you think peer pressure and you think of Full House when they're smoking cigarettes in the bathroom and Stephanie is like, oh my God, they're smoking cigarettes.
That?
Yeah, there's an episode of Full House where they smoke cigarettes in the bathroom. You don't remember that?
No.
But like people think of peer pressure when you're in your young adolescent years, not as an adult so much. But I think it's still a big thing. Getting pressured by your friends, people who you think are your friends, maybe they're not your friends, but that's, I think, something that I don't want to blame for holding on to alcohol and weed for so long, but it played a part. It definitely played a part. I think if I didn't have outside voices telling me like, you don't have a drinking problem, why do you have to stop? That's another thing. I just need to throw this out there, public service announcement. You don't have to have a drinking problem to stop drinking alcohol. You don't have to be an alcoholic. You don't have to be an addict. You can just stop if you want. And that's one big thing. I went out for Cinco de Mayo this year with a few friends. And there was a new girl, I didn't know her. She was like, oh, why don't you drink? And I was like, I choose not to, you know. I didn't know how to say no. I kind of like to make a joke out of it, like, you know, I was a little crazy with it. And my one friend was like, oh, stop. You didn't have a problem. And it's like, one, who are you to tell me? You know, you're not in my head with me. You're not throwing up in my toilet with me the next day, you know? So I think a lot of outside sources affected my decisions for a long time. And I think I would have stopped both sooner if not for peer pressure. And I just never understood it. Why does it matter if I smoke or drink? Why does it affect you?
Yeah. I mean,
Each their own.
like I said, like, or like we said, we started late. Like I was having a grand old time, like in my teenage years and even up to like 20 before.
I was an athlete. I couldn't smoke. I was a college athlete. They were like, they're going to drug test you. So we were all nervous to do any of that. And I also, since my dad was an addict, I grew up like drugs are bad. Weed is drugs. That's, you know, devil's lettuce. I was anti everything. I've also never done any other drug. So
neither have
weed is the
I.
only thing I've, yeah. Nothing up with the nose. None of that crazy stuff. And you want to know what's messed up? I know I'll love it. That's why I've never done it.
That is so key.
Who doesn't love Coke?
I mean, I don't know.
Everyone loves Coke.
I don't know.
I know I'll love it.
Mhm.
So I don't do it. I don't even go down that path. Not even going to open that door. We're going to keep that locked with 4 deadbolts.
Yeah.
Also, drugs are too crazy now with the lacing and
Oh my God. Totally.
fentanyl. I would just be too anxious
I had one
that I
opportunity.
was getting poisoned.
Yeah, I had one opportunity to do like the microdose chocolate mushroom thing. I have like a little regret about it, but it's probably
You did it or you didn't do it?
I didn't do it. I have like
That's something like I always wanted to try.
I know,
But like I don't want to hear colors. You know, I don't know if I want to tap into that part of my brain.
yeah, no, I could never.
But some people really swear
full
by it.
on. I know, and like it changes like their whole life, and they become a new person.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I need.
I just feel like I would be too anxious trying it.
You would just give yourself a bad high.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. I've always wanted to try maybe one day like the ayahuasca,
Oh
like
my
you know
God.
those ayahuasca retreats.
Yeah.
But that's apparently you're throwing up like your deepest darkest demons and you're crying and it's a really crazy experience. Maybe one day when I'm like 54 and have nothing better to do, I'll go and do that in like the jungle of Costa Rica, but I don't think I need to do that right now.
Maybe
think
one
I'm just
day
gonna
we'll
keep
do it
on going.
together.
Maybe, and we'll cry together and throw up our ayahuasca drink.
And we'll record it for you guys.
We'll put it on season 72.
Yeah, literally. So I can't even wait to like look back and reflect on this episode in real time because
And I hope that one day, not that you stop smoking completely, but I hope you develop a better relationship with it. Is Nellie scratching at the door?
you can hear that. Like I already got up twice for this badge.
But yeah, I just hope that you get to a better place mentally because I know you kind of beat yourself up over it. And I hate that for you.
Yeah, I definitely do.
And I think one day you will get to that. That's the whole thing. You have to get there when you're ready.
Yeah, I guess I don't really have much to say on it because I'm kind of doing the right thing without it. I'm kind of doing the right thing with it. So I'm like just confused, bro.
Yeah. My whole thing is it doesn't hurt by stopping. That's another thing that I kind of sold myself on. Like, this isn't going to hurt if I stop. It could only be positive if I stop drinking and smoking weed. It's not going to be a negative. So I was like, what's the harm in doing it? That's kind of where I was at too.
I mean, once I guess you get past the grueling of, I guess, missing it.
Yeah. The alcohol didn't bother me as much. The weed was definitely a little rough. Like first week, you get the withdrawals, you know, you can't really eat. The appetite's not there. Headaches. I had like a permanent headache for about a week after no weed. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. But it comes down to discipline and willpower. And that's really what it is. You have to tell yourself every time you think about doing it, it's like, why am I doing this? And then that's something else that I lean on. I'm like, okay, I want to smoke weed. Why? What am I trying to fill right now? What void is there that I'm trying to do this? And most of the times when I smoked, I would realize this isn't making it any better. Now I'm sad and high. A lot of the times it was just trying to numb and suppress feelings. So that's why I have a journal and I go to therapy and I go
That's
on
why I have a
walks.
podcast.
That's why Billy has a podcast. But typically those things, you're just trying to fill a void. You're trying to fill a void. And I think unless you have a lot
So
of
I basically just want a
introspection-
boyfriend.
that could be it. And I don't want to say you're lonely, but that's a big part. A lot of the times I smoked, I just found that I was sad. I was sad for various reasons. Whether I was lonely, whether I had a bad day. I was just sad. But the weed made me more sad. So I was like, again, now I'm sad and high. But a lot of this, you have to question yourself and kind of just ask you, why do I feel this way? Why? And just keep asking yourself why. I had a whole life-changing introspective moment when I went to Australia for a month. All alone, in the middle of nowhere. Just me and my thoughts.
Yeah.
and my journal. So I did a lot of questioning.
We'll have to dig into that.
I actually, before we hopped on here, I looked at my GoPro footage from Australia and Hawaii. It's like amazing to look at visually. I'm going to send you the video. I have the video of like the wetsuit that you had to wear when you go in the water because the killer jellyfish. It was horrendous. It's so embarrassing, but I need to show you. It's hysterical.
Please.
I can look back and laugh. I think that's all I really have to say. And I guess I can just leave it off on if you're questioning whether or not you need to stop drinking or smoking or whatever drug you're doing, that alone is very telling that you should stop. And it never has to be forever. It can be a month. It could be 3 months. It could be 6 months. But there's so many resources out there. I honestly, for a while, thought about going to AA. And all my friends were like, that's crazy. You're not an alcoholic. But they're just support groups. You don't have to be getting drunk in the morning before you go to work to be an alcoholic. And there's so many resources, and people are almost too prideful to use these things.
What I would think that you get the most out of AA is hearing other people's stories and seeing that, like, it's not just you in the world. And
Absolutely.
usually you don't have it as bad.
Mm-hmm. And that's also why I'm choosing to share my story, because it's powerful.
Mm-hmm.
If like I said, if one person listens to this and they're like, damn, that hit, then I did something right and I'm helping people.
Well, I'm
But
not one person.
you're not
at
alone.
least.
Love that. You're not alone. There's so many resources out there. There's support groups on Instagram. I've joined a few like Instagram pages.
I follow fucking sober on Instagram.
On Instagram, it's like a sober girls guide or something like that, and they host like meetups in different cities and things like that.
There should really be more like sober entertainment, like, or even like
I
a
think
sober.
we're getting towards that.
Like, I would like be down for a sober bar. Like, it's weird, but it could be like a thing. Like more so
Yeah.
like pool and like darts. Like, you know,
More activities.
yeah.
I think that's another thing. As adults, we don't have a lot of activities to do.
Right.
People don't try new things. People don't experiment with, whatever hobbies, things like that. So they're just like, I know I can go to the bar and drink with some friends.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
throw yourself
really
into
true.
new hobbies. Fill the void with something else.
Yeah, it
And
doesn't even have to be
maybe you're
sober.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I started doing martial arts. I picked up a few other hobbies. I decided I'm going to learn Spanish because I'm going to Mexico at the end of the year. So just fill the void with something else. I started reading books. I've never read books in my life. I was not a reader. And now because I stopped smoking and I just sit there at the end of the night and I'm like, well, what do I do now? I guess I'll read a book.
Love that.
And I filled the void. I filled the void with healthy habits. Yeah, it's just, it can't hurt you. It can only help you. And I am all for it. I hope we can get to a place in the world where drinking isn't so normalized, because you're literally drinking poison.
Yeah, it's
I hate to say
literally,
it, but alcohol is
it's a
poisoning.
health hazard.
It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, not even to be that girl, but it is horrible for you.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely horrible for you. And it's just normal to get blackout drunk and like, yeah, I was throwing up from drinking so much. That's not normal. That's not
And
okay.
the smoke in your lungs is horrible for you too. Alfie.
Horrible.
For
I
those
have
who want to
friends
say
who have
like,
a permanent smoker's cough.
yeah,
Like, think about when you're taking a big hit and you're like, and you're like, I'm fine. That's not normal. That's not normal. And I think this is just all part of growing up and realizing, like, okay, do I want to be like that forever? Or do I want to get my shit together and care about my body? Because now at this age, 30 is kind of when I feel like things are breaking down a little more. Health issues flare up now. And if you're not
Right
taking
away,
care
in
of
fact.
yourself now, you're not going to be doing too great in a few years. So that was a big turning point for me too. Just care about yourself. Care about yourself.
I guess that's really what I have to say this week.
I think I've said enough. You don't really use Snapchat. I keep getting random Snapchat subscriptions that I'm not subscribed to.
Yeah, they're like trying to suck us back in, I think.
Absolutely. I just got one Complex. I'm not subscribed to Complex on Snapchat.
I want to start
sorry,
a
it just
streak
popped up
with
on my
you,
phone.
but I don't know if that life is for me.
I was going to say I was going to send you one, but I don't know if I want to peer pressure you into...
No, I
doing
love
Snapchat thing.
receiving snaps.
Okay.
So
Even though I never said anything good, it's just like my head.
yeah, I don't
Just,
really like.
streaks.
I'm totally accepting.
Okay, I'll start sending you more. But I think we should wrap this baby up so I can take a swim while it's still nice out.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging in with us another week. Please do your homework. You know what that means.
Like, subscribe, comment, 5 stars or no stars.
Yes.
Be a 5-star bitch.
Instagram, Young Millennials Pod.
I just want to say my DMs are always open for support on this topic. You can DM me on the Young Millennials podcast page or my Instagram page or YouTube comments. I always love to talk about this, and please don't ever feel like you can't talk to me. I want to help everyone that I could.
Yes. Mine are sealed shut.
Don't DM Billy.
I'm kidding. I love you
bother.
guys.
No requests.
Oh, yeah. If you guys
Thanks for
want to,
listening. Oh,
I was going to say, if you guys have any shared experience you want to share in the comments over on YouTube,
absolutely.
we love it there.
Always.
And
We always welcome that.
Yeah.
Bring it on in.
Mhm.
We're trying to build a sense of community, and I feel like that's very important because through social media we have this false sense of community, and I know our platform is strictly social media, but I really want to try to build something authentic and real.
Mhm.
So drop your comments. Let's have a conversation.
All right.
And thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Love and light.
Peace, love, and light. We out.
Bye.
Duh.
Cute.